The 2025 Formula One season has delivered everything. Shock comebacks, political chaos, and a rivalry brewing within McLaren that's threatening to tear the team apart. For months, Oscar Piastri led the World Championship with confidence, driving with the composure of a future world champion. But after the United States Grand Prix, that calm exterior has cracked. His once dominant McLaren suddenly looks sluggish. He finished a disappointing fifth, while teammate Lando Norris fought up front. The data doesn't lie. The gap between the two cars was unusual, almost unnatural. And now, inside the Papaya garage, tensions are rising fast. Piastri's car was slower in qualifying, slower on the straights, and slower in race pace, despite identical setups. Coincidence? Or could there be an internal game being played to shift the team's title hopes towards Norris? As Verstappen's Red Bull surges with terrifying speed, McLaren's unity is falling apart. Before we unravel the hidden story behind McLaren's chaos, make sure to subscribe, because what's happening right now could redefine how far teams are willing to go in Formula One's most ruthless championship fight in years. Let's begin with what went wrong for Oscar Piastri in Austin, and why many now believe something strange might be happening inside McLaren. Heading into the United States Grand Prix, Piastri was leading the World Championship. Confident, composed. Everything seemed under control, but in one weekend, that calm dominance evaporated. He crashed in the sprint race, finished only fifth in the main event, and watched as teammate Lando Norris fought up front with Max Verstappen. What shocked fans most wasn't just the result, it was how slow Piastri looked compared to Norris. The same car, the same updates, but completely different performance. In qualifying, Norris was sensational, grabbing second place behind Verstappen. Piastri? Sixth. During the race, he struggled with traction, top speed, and tyre management. Data from COTA showed Norris consistently 3-4 km/h, faster through the speed traps, despite both using identical aerodynamic setups. The team claimed it was down to driving style and minor setup differences, but that explanation didn't satisfy everyone. For many, it looked like something deeper, a team possibly tilting the balance in Norris's favour as Verstappen's comeback gathers unstoppable momentum. Inside McLaren, the pressure is immense. Andrea Stella, the team principal, insists that both drivers are treated equally and that no team orders will be issued until the mathematics demand it. But that phrase, mathematics demand it, is being heavily scrutinised. Because with 5 races and 2 sprint rounds left, the math could flip at any moment. Piastri currently leads with 346 points. Norris is on 332, and Verstappen has closed to 306. If McLaren wait too long to back one driver, they risk losing the championship entirely. Yet if they act now, they could destroy the fragile trust between their two young stars. Some insiders believe subtle preference might already be happening, not through sabotage, but through what's known as soft bias. Tiny details like which engineer gets more attention, who gets the fresher tyre set, or which strategy is prioritised in the race. None of it illegal, none of it overt, but enough to create a psychological edge. And in Formula One, small advantages snowball quickly. Norris has been calmer, more adaptable, and less prone to mistakes recently. Meanwhile, Piastri's demeanour has shifted. He's become more cautious, visibly frustrated on team radio, and increasingly insecure. That word, insecure, is exactly how several paddock insiders have described him, and it's easy to see why. This is his 3rd season in Formula One, but his first true title fight. Early in the year, when expectations were low, his driving was free and fearless. Now, with the championship slipping away, every lap feels heavy. Every decision feels like a risk. The fear of losing the title or losing the team's faith can crush even the most talented driver. The same thing happened to Charles Leclerc in 2022 when Ferrari's internal confusion derailed his momentum. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen is doing exactly what a champion does, waiting for others to implode. In the past 5 race weekends, Verstappen has scored 119 out of a possible 133 points. An extraordinary turnaround. After being written off mid-season, Red Bull has rediscovered its form, and Verstappen's relentless consistency is terrifying his rivals. While McLaren's drivers are tripping over each other, Verstappen is quietly and efficiently cutting down their lead. He doesn't need to dominate every weekend. He just needs McLaren to keep making mistakes. The irony is that McLaren has been here before. In 2007, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso's internal war cost them the championship, handing it to Kimi Raikkonen at the final race. Andrea Stella even referenced that history, saying, "We will not make a call until the numbers close the door." But history also teaches that indecision can be deadly. Every race where Piastri and Norris take points from each other is another step closer to Verstappen reclaiming the crown. Still, the question of sabotage lingers. Could McLaren really be deliberately slowing Piastri down? Realistically, in modern Formula One, outright sabotage is almost impossible. Every millisecond of data is monitored, from engine modes to fuel flow. But prioritization, that's different. It can happen through subtle means, favouring one driver in the garage, adjusting the pit strategy, or allocating resources differently. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes politics that's impossible to prove, but everyone suspects. And with tensions running this high, even the smallest perceived slight can fracture team unity. From a strategic point of view, McLaren's equal treatment policy is noble, but dangerously naive. The Papaya team is desperate for a world title after 17 years of drought. They know that playing fair is risky when your main rival is Max Verstappen, a driver who never plays nice. Red Bull's entire system revolves around maximising Verstappen's chances, while McLaren seems determined to let their drivers battle freely. Fans love the purity of that approach, but championships are rarely won by being fair. As we head into the final stretch, Mexico, Brazil, Qatar, Las Vegas, and Abu Dhabi, the psychological war inside McLaren could decide everything. Piastri needs a comeback, not just on track, but mentally. He must rebuild trust, rediscover confidence, and prove he can handle the spotlight. Because if Norris outperforms him again, the narrative of team sabotage will only grow stronger. And if McLaren doesn't act fast, Verstappen could do what he does best: exploit chaos and snatch victory from under their noses. In the end, whether or not there's truth to the sabotage theory might not even matter. What matters is that Piastri feels it, and perception in Formula One can be as destructive as reality. Once a driver starts doubting his own team, it's almost impossible to regain that harmony. That's what makes this moment so critical. Either McLaren unites behind one driver soon, or they risk repeating their darkest history while Verstappen celebrates yet another championship that should have been theirs. So, what's really happening behind the scenes at McLaren? Is Oscar Piastri truly being held back, or are we witnessing the natural pressure cracks of a young driver learning how brutal a title fight can be? According to your observation, do you believe McLaren is genuinely treating both drivers equally, or has the balance already shifted toward Norris? Let me know what you think in the comments, because this story might just explode before the next Grand Prix begins.